Instead of saying, I can't afford this, instead flip that switch and say, how can I afford this? If you look at my YouTube views, when I do a video just about how to make money, right? It's weird, the comments that come through, because people, they don't tell you that they're making money. They don't tell you, hey, I'm gonna try some of these things. You get an influx of people telling you why they can't do it. And those are always people that I've never seen comment on any of the other videos. When we make videos like panic prepper videos, like so many of the prepper space channels, right? It's, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, this is gonna die. And if we do a hashtag and the sky is falling, Chicken Little type videos, we get tons of interaction with those videos. And people are like, right on, I got my 3 cans of green beans, and right on, yes, I bought whatever the $5 thing at Walmart was. It's gonna save my life, right? It's gonna change the life and the course of the direction for my family in the future. But when we make a video, instead of, hey, I'm 51 years old, and every year something was supposed to destroy the world like the dinosaurs, and it hasn't happened, right? So instead, I decided to make more money so that we could prep in a bigger manner. And instead of putting shit in closets in our small little area or living in the city, we left the city, we moved to small town America, we bought a piece of property, we built a building, we climate controlled the building, we compartmentalized the building so that climate zones were different. Then we bought other properties in case this property got destroyed. And then we have stuff stationed and stored in 5 or 6 different locations, so that if this got wiped out by a tornado, one of those 6 someplace will still exist, even though they're within a few miles of each other. They're probably not all going to, right? So instead of buying 3 dented cans of green beans and posting all over the internet about how cool and how great these cans of green beans are going to change my family's life, instead we buckled down and we bought pallet loads of green beans and pallet loads of canned chicken and freeze dryers, and then we started producing 300 chickens, and we started producing 300 eggs every few days, and we started freeze drying eggs, and then we bought vacuum sealers, and we bought packaging equipment, and we literally started doing it on a scale that we could sell all of you guys scrambled eggs, pre-cooked scrambled eggs that are packaged, and we could sell you guys freeze-dried scrambled eggs and freeze-dried chicken and all these things, right? I could have never done those if I spent all my money buying 3 cans of green beans. So instead, I stopped buying 3 cans of green beans, and I built my business and set up 2 other businesses, and then brought in more people to produce and actually scale those. And now we buy truckloads of stuff, right? I don't have to go and buy 5 T-posts when I need them, because I have 400 T-posts here, because we buy everything in a manner now that I don't have to use manpower. I go to a place to buy things and I say, how much do I have to buy that you'll take that forklift and I don't have to touch it, and you just put it on this flatbed right here. And then when we get here, we use our forklift or our skid steer and we unload it. And then when my buddy comes in and he's like, hey, I need some T-posts, I know you have them. What will you trade me? I go, I know you got 8 rolls of wire fencing and you have 2 extras. I go, give me one of those and I'll give you as many T-posts as you want. Or I know that you have phone posts, so I'll trade you my T-posts for your phone posts. How do you want to do it, right? That's how I want you guys to think. And when I make videos about saving $50 a day, if you can't save $50 a day, save $50 a week. But when I say that, I say those things because I was hearing those things as a child, right? $50 as a child is worth like $5 in today's money. So if you can't save $50, $50 today is only worth $5 of what it was when I was a kid, if that. But you are set in this mindset of why you can't. And if you look at the videos, which is the first thing I said in the beginning of this video, I have 3,500 videos plus on YouTube here. If you go look at the videos, the ones that are small mindset have the most comments. The ones that actually tell you, hey, yes, you can do this, and here is how you can do it. You might not want to do it, and that's fine. I am fine with I don't want to. I am not fine with I cannot. But every time I make a video like that, multiple people show up to tell me why they can't, and I don't recognize any of them. So it's just a trip. And if you look at the views, when we do a sky is falling video, you'll have 5,000 views. But when we do a video about, hey, if you do these things with your time instead of these things, those videos only have 20, 30 comments, and they only have under 1,000 views. It's just how the world is, because that's how people you're around are. That's how we walk amongst those people. The people grumbling and complaining. Society is held together with a glue that is water soluble. It is only held together temporarily. You are amongst people every day that would walk up to you, unknowing you, and stick a knife right between your ribs. The only thing that keeps them from doing that is the perception that society still remains. We did a podcast today, Scully and I, and we were having conversations with a few other people today. And I said, when's society going to collapse? He goes, do you think society hasn't collapsed, right? When are we going to have separation of state? Do you not think we already have separation of state? The shooting just hasn't started yet. And that's what we're discussing. We're in a false sense of normalcy. Well, normalcy bias, right? That's not going to happen because I haven't seen it before. It can most definitely happen. And all of you dudes that believe that, and women, all of you people that believe that things have changed over the last 3 years in the United States here, I need you to take that seriously rather than just talk. And if things are going to change, when will that fuse be lit, right? Hopefully not this year, hopefully not 2 years, hopefully never. But I would like you to take your time and your effort and figure out, we even had this conversation again this morning, if the postal service shut down, if we were no longer getting goods to make this, what would we do? What does that look like? I want you to gameplay that, right? So whatever your job is, when your normal job goes away, your government job, whatever, what will you do? Start doing that now. Have that plan, practice that plan, and you might just find you will be a lot happier, but also probably make more money, because the time, right now you are trading your time for dollars for somebody else. You show up. It's not all about money, John. Then why do you get up at a certain time and go to a place that you hate and then come home and spend the entire weekend talking about how bad your week was? I'd say it's all fucking about money for you. So figure out how to make something and have a service, right? Make a good or have a service that people seek you out and willingly give you money. They say that 50% of the population 50% of the population actually make a good or a service that people choose to use. I would bet that it's less than that. And the other part is bureaucracy. Those people only get a paycheck because somebody steals money from somebody else. School teacher, that's an example. Not the best example, but a school teacher, if taxes stopped, school teaching would stop. The schools would cease to run. Department of Motor Vehicles is a perfect example. If you didn't have to go to the DMV, would you go to the DMV? You would not. And all those people that work at DMV, they are only paid because the government steals money from people. The government is set up to fine you and take money from you, and they don't have to do it all the time at a point of a gun anymore because you are a tax cow. You just have shinier chains. You're still a fucking slave. But like I believe it's the Maasai Indians, they bring the cow in, they make some slices, they collect the bucket of blood, the blood congeals, they make a blood pudding, and then they milk it, and they add the milk to the blood, and that's what they eat, right? You just show up twice a day to get fucking milked. And what happens to a cow if you don't milk the cow? The cow fucking metastasizes, it fucking gets a huge infection, it eventually dies. You are the tax cow. So how can you change that? And here's some more examples, right? Over the last few years, you saw bureaucrats, you saw people who didn't have any authority and power. Think about this. If you were working in a position where you have power and authority over other human beings right now, you were probably missing something as a child. Not everybody, but you were probably missing something as a child. You had no power or authority, and now all of a sudden you were given power, perceived power and authority, right? You saw it with the Musketeers. You would see people squealing that you're going to make them sick because you're not wearing a mask. But if they truly believed that, they wouldn't be up in your face yelling at you or following you around the grocery store. They would be going the other direction, and they're not doing that. And that tells everything you need to know. And I say that because just recently in North Carolina, 2 weekends ago, you had several substations taken down, and it knocked the power out for, 50, 60, 100,000 people in North Carolina. Here's something you might not know. In North Carolina, during COVID, there was a MARSOC Marine, I don't remember his name, had a gym there. And the health department and the local police chief gave him a lot of grief and hassle because he would not close his gym down, kind of like Ian Smith did. Well, the police chief got a pass card from one of his members, because it's a 24-hour gym, and went in there and went through his computers and some of his private records, and they harassed this guy and gave him quite a hassle. That was 3 years ago. It went on. I believe he won his lawsuit. 2 weeks ago, the health department went around to all the tattoo parlors and said, you can't be open when the power's out because it's very dangerous for you to give tattoos in the dark. Never mind that they had generators, never mind that they had headlamps, never mind that they were able to continue. But they went after the tattoo parlors. They also then went to all the restaurants and they said, you can't be open as a restaurant. And in fact, when the power comes back on, you can't reopen your restaurant until the health department has inspected all of your food and everything that you will be serving because the power was out. You've never heard of this before. This was a new thing. These were bureaucrats that felt the power during the CUFUS, and now they are exercising the power under this excuse. Maybe that's not what it is, but it certainly looks like that's what it is. They had some perceived power, and now here's another scenario possibly. All you guys that didn't follow along like perfect puppies during the CUFUS, maybe those are who they're looking for, and that's who they're going to punish. Just a theory. But that's that bureaucrat again there, right? If you had food, would you take food that you thought was bad or had the possibility of being bad and serve it to people? You wouldn't, because it would make them sick and you would lose those people as customers. But now they are telling all these people they have to be fully inspected before they can reopen. That's some brand new bullshit. That hasn't ever happened before. So what's next? When is this going to affect you? John, I don't have a restaurant. This won't affect me. Make your life so that it cannot affect you. At what point will this hit home for you? Because it's coming. This is you against the government. The government can never exist and stay at the same size or restrict smaller. It can't. To stay in business, government has to grow. Government always figures out a way to continue to grow. And that's what is happening. Just because it hasn't directly affected you yet, you're just doing that thing of, we were just doing what we were told. It wasn't me getting on the train, right? It wasn't my books they were after. It wasn't my kids they were miseducating. Take control of your life and your family's life. And even if you're in a position where you don't have funds to be able to fund a business or start some venture, that means you need to be the lever. You need to be the toggle, right? At what point are you going to change the future history of your family and be the lever that does make the difference for the future of your kids and your grandkids? Well, I'm not ever going to have kids. Yeah, I said that shit too. I'm not ever going to have grandkids. Yep, I said that shit too. Even if you don't, would changing that course in your life make your life better? If you believe times are getting tough, wouldn't it be nice? We're about to have snow and ice like we've never had here before since I've lived here. Now, a lot of times they say this, and I fight. I've seen the cry wolf stuff, right? They say it's going to be the worst ever, and then it's not, and then they say it, and it's not, and you just don't take care of it, and that's the one time. It's like Ed Hubble said on our live yesterday. Murphy's Law. Whatever you're prepared for, there's going to be some shit that happens to you that you're not prepared for. If you're prepared for it, it's like having insurance, and it just never happens. We're about to have 2-degree weather. Our low. Our high is going to be 8. We're going to have that for several days. So even when water freezes, it will remain frozen for quite some time, especially any standing stuff in the shade. We're bringing in straw. We have straw. We're bringing in more straw, just in case. Just in case one of my dipshit friends or neighbors doesn't have some fucking straw, even though we've heard about it. I have straw from last year, right? We're bringing in trailer loads. My guys are out running right now. Wouldn't it be nice? Well, straw last year was $5 a bale. Before that, the year before, it was $3.50 a bale, $6.50 a bale, $7 a bale. Straw. You can't even feed straw to your animals. The hay is the top shit. That's the part with the nutrition and the seeds and stuff. The straw is the bottom part that's hollow and holds heat because it has loftiness, right? It's only for bedding. In the end, it all ends up with animal shit all over it. You're just literally buying expensive compost. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just go, how much of this do I have to buy to get it for $5 a bale? A truckload? Okay, I'll buy that. I'll send guys right now. We'll start running it right now. Wouldn't you rather be able to do that? Wouldn't you rather be able to put a structure up with a roof so that you could just keep straw and keep hay and keep seeds and keep 2x4s and keep T-posts and everything out of the weather? Wouldn't you rather be able to do that? The question is, why can't you do that? And if you can't, the question you need to ask yourself is, how can I? And if you want to have that conversation, I'll be happy to have that conversation with you. I won't even charge. I'm not selling a program. I'm not trying to get you to come here and buy something from me. This shit right here, it's not even what I do. It's not even what pays my bills. Ask yourself how. It simply is like turning a light switch on. Instead of saying, I can't afford this, instead flip that switch and say, how can I afford this?